Namo Amida Boo, welcome everybody. Lots of new people, welcome to all of you. And Luna the dog. We'll start as normally we start with a Dharma glimpse. So Philip's agreed to read a Dharma glimpse. You got a big bear on you. See?
That's not hard. It's not intentional. It's been out in the garden.
Yeah, so Philip's going to read a Dharma glimpse, which is written by Dharma.
Thanks, Dave. Okay, yeah, it's an honour to be reading a piece of writing from Dharma and to be supporting Dave in practice today to people in the temple very dear to me. So it's an honour. So here's a little poem that came out in a period of illness recently and was partly inspired by the symbolism of destructive habits and their relationship to our age, which is something I can personally relate to. Breathe smoke. Dukkha, suffering, comes and goes like the wind. It sometimes knocks on the door and often arrives uninvited and unannounced. It's alive, it lives, and we can either live with it, alongside it, or we can become consumed by it. Life is hard. There's a downward force, a resistance against which we all have to push, just in order to maintain basic functionality. Like wading through water, every moment requiring strength and determination. The friction creating sparks of causation, the fire is beyond our comprehension. Without this gravitational field counteracting our forward thrust, we may not experience the joy of life, the overcoming of the struggle. And the struggle can be transformative. The pain can make us and break us simultaneously. Victory and defeat pave the way for one another. You can sense this force, even though it's invisible, intangible. You know it well, yet think of it little, even though it's ever present and has been there all of your life. It's as if in every moment we can break through into the next dimension of space, time, and mind. We co-create each instance of expansion. We are the forerunners in the opening out of the universe. Striding through the boundaries of the present into the future, surging forward into the great unknown. The rage makes me want to breathe smoke and fire. The sadness breaks my heart. The power of joy is born in the, I can't pronounce that word, in Brogue. That's the one. Sounds like a breakfast cereal. And the path to peace amongst the chaos is carved and ordained by the forces of great compassion. I want to breathe smoke. Namo Amida Boo.
Thank you, Philip and Jame, for that. Right, so we're now going to sit in a period of silence for several minutes, and then we will break into some chanting. The chant is, for those of you who knew, it's on the back of your liturgy sheet. There's a few of them. It's going to be Namo Kwanchi Yin Bo Sat. There's only one line, so you have to remember it and just join in. First, we'll sit in silence. Apart from the dog. So as we sit here, if we can concentrate on our breathing, you're breathing out, breathing in, And when unwanted thoughts appear, acknowledge them, but then try to return to your breathing. Don't dwell on them too much. And just enjoy the silence and the stillness. Namo Quan Shin Bo Sat. 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 So now we're going to read the refuges, the three things we take refuge in, which is the Buddha's teaching known as the Dharma, and the community of people that follow those teachings known as the Sangha. That's repeat after me, and then our precepts, which are a set of guidelines that we try to live our life by, which also repeat after me. And then the Bodhisattva vows, which are call and response, and they're all written on your liturgy sheet if you want to see them. For refuge, I go to the Buddha.
For refuge, I go to the Buddha,
The one who is awake and full of love.
the one who is awake and full of love.
Namo Buddhaya.
Namo Buddhaya.
For refuge, I go to the Dharma.
For refuge, I go to the Dharma,
All that guides us to wisdom and compassion.
all that guides us to wisdom and compassion.
Namo Dhammaya.
Namo Dhammaya.
For refuge, I go to the Sangha.
For refuge, I go to the Sangha,
For those who live in the Buddha's light.
those who live in the Buddha's light.
Namo Sanghaya.
Namo Sanghaya.
With faith in the three jewels,
With faith in the three jewels,
and in light of my human tendencies,
and in light of my human tendencies,
I pray that I will become aware
I pray that I will become aware
of when I take life.
of when I take life.
I pray that I may become aware
I pray that I may become aware
of when I take what is not freely given.
when I take what is not freely given.
I pray that I may become aware
I pray that I may become aware
of when I fall into sexual misconduct.
of when I fall into sexual misconduct.
I pray that I may become aware
I pray that I may become aware
of when I fall into wrong speech.
of when I fall into wrong speech.
I pray that I may become aware
I pray that I may become aware
of when I become intoxicated.
of when I become intoxicated.
No blame,
No blame,
be kind,
be kind,
love everything.
love everything.
Innumerable are sentient beings.
We vow to save them all.
Inexhaustible are deluded passions.
We vow to transform them all.
Immeasurable are the Dharma teachings.
We vow to master them all.
Infinite is the Buddha's way.
We vow to fulfill it completely.
So now I'm gonna read something out. So Dharma Glimpse is a piece of writing that a member of the community has written when they've sort of seen something that means something to them that sort of follows the Buddhist path, I suppose. So this was originally a Dharma Glimpse. It was meant to be a Dharma Glimpse, and then I've written an epilogue, and then I'm going to try and put it into Buddhist context. I'm going to read it out. A couple of years ago, I spent some time on my own on the Pembrokeshire coast. This was the first time I'd gone on a solo holiday. It was the longest amount of time I'd spent by myself for many years. I spent a lot of time walking the coastal paths, scrambling up and down cliffs and looking in rock pools. I was in my element, really. More than anything, I love immersing myself in the natural world, and I embraced the wilderness of the Welsh seashore. Everywhere I went, I took my binoculars with me, looking for birds and other wildlife. I watched small groups of choughs performing aerial acrobatics along the rocky shoreline. Cormorants bobbing about on the waves before diving for fish. I saw curlew and redshank wading in the estuary, looking for worms to eat in the mudflaps. Most exciting for me was all the seals. Some were basking on isolated beaches with their pups, and some were bobbing around in the water just a few feet away from me. There was one thing missing though. That part of the Welsh coast is well known for its dolphins. I've never seen dolphins in the wild, and I knew there was a good chance of seeing them there. Every day on my walks, I searched the waves with my binoculars, looking for these elusive animals, often imagining I'd seen them when I hadn't. Each day becoming slightly more obsessed with my desire to get a glimpse of these almost mythical creatures. One day I was high up on the cliff top with amazing panoramic views. I scoured the sea again, hoping to see them. After several minutes, I gave up and decided to sit for a while and meditate. When I had sat for a while, I opened my eyes and took in the beautiful view before me. Suddenly a weight was lifted from my mind as I realized everything was perfect in that moment, just as it was. I didn't need to see the dolphins to be happy. Just the knowledge that dolphins existed and were out there somewhere was enough. And there's the epilogue. Recently, I was lucky enough to be invited on a field trip to Croatia. I was part of a small group of people staying on an island just a few hundred meters from the mainland. There was a boat from the island to the mainland several times a day. On one trip to get some supplies, I saw 2 dolphins. I was over the moon and very excited, but it only increased my desire to see them again, maybe more next time and a little bit closer. They were off in the distance, but still reasonably close. They swam right in front of a small group of people canoeing, and I felt a slight sense of jealousy rising in me. Every time I got on the boat after that, I found myself frantically searching for dolphins again. So that's 2 amazing holidays I've had now, where despite being truly grateful and acknowledging my good fortune, I've been left with a slight sense of not being entirely fulfilled. Once because I didn't see any dolphins, and once because I did see dolphins. There was only 2 of them, and they weren't quite close enough. So to try and put this into a Buddhist context, the first noble truth the Buddha taught us is that there is suffering, and the second noble truth is that there is a cause of suffering. These causes are sometimes referred to as greed, ignorance, and hate. We all know it's wrong to be greedy, and most of us here, or anyone on a spiritual path, is aware that money and material possessions are not the answer to our problems. But sometimes it's the little things that we don't suspect that can cause us to feel unhappy or unfulfilled. Feeling that life could be just a little bit better, always wanting a bit more, expecting happiness to come at some point in the future, or when a certain set of circumstances are just right. When I was sitting on the rocks in Pembrokeshire, I felt true contentment for a short period of time. In that moment, I didn't want for anything. I experienced deep gratitude for life just as it was, dolphins or no dolphins. Sometimes our desire for that little bit extra means we fail to see and appreciate what we already have. Namo Buddha. So next we're going to make prostrations to the main shrine, which means chanting and also going down on our knees. So if you've got dodgy knees or you don't want to do that, you don't have to. You can sit and watch, do as much as you want, basically. I'll go to the front. When Dharma rings a bell,
Gratitude, we offer this incense to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas throughout space and time. Let these fragrance earth herself, reflecting our careful efforts, our wholehearted awareness, and the fruits of understanding slowly ripening. May we all be companions of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas who awaken from forgetfulness and realize
You'll return to your seats or stand by your seats. And before we say, no, we bow, don't we? Sorry. Jeremy will ring the bell once, we bow one side, then the other, then he'll ring it twice. Left side first. We can't all go left, can we? No. Just bow. And then he'll ring the bell again and we'll bow to the main shrine. So, yeah, in a minute we'll say the closing verse, which is on the literacy sheet, I think, somewhere. The other side. We've got any announcements? There's a golden bowl in the hallway if you want to make donations, or you can do it online via the website. Gardening. Oh, yeah, we'll all have a cup of tea. Welcome to a cup of tea, or coffee, or herbal tea, or whatever you want. Gardening, yeah, and there's some of us going to go into the garden for an hour or so. If anyone wants to come and help, that'd be lovely. Thank you very much. And there's a book group. There's a couple of book groups. There's film. First one starting in October. It's led by me. I can't remember the name of the book. Living in Book Two. Living in Book Two. I can't remember the exact date.
It's a lovely book.
It's a lovely book. It's in October anyway, so you can sign up to that on the website as well. Is that all?
And Angie's running one online.
At the same time?
In October.
Okay, all the details
Send
are
you
on the website. Closing verse. Bless
Thy smallest lives. May we care for all living things and the holy earth.